On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are breaking down the victory for the Broncos, how we feeling about the offense and the defense. Plus, we are getting into the inside scoop and a lot more, and it all starts now. Victory Monday on the DNVR Broncos podcast, where we are talking about the 1-0 Denver Broncos live in the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores and presented by Bet365. Use that code DNVR365. Place a $5 bet, deposit $10, and you can get $300 in bonus bets when you sign up. Fellas, how we feeling after a victory?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. After watching the film last night, after watching a little bit of film this morning, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty encouraged. Not everything was as bad as I thought when watching the film. There are some opportunities out there, but I feel pretty good just watching the film, and the fact that the Broncos are 1-0, I think is really good because I believe in Sean Payton's first year, they started off 0-3, and then last year they started off 0-2, correct? So to start off 1-0 is good.
It is.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I like that you brought up you didn't feel as bad as you thought. Was that what you said, or didn't feel as good? No, it wasn't as bad as you thought. Because that's one of the Sean Payton staples is you go back and watch the game. The good is never as good as you think. The bad is never as bad as you think.
100%.
And that, again, it's correct almost every single time you go back and watch the game.
I actually disagree with that with this game.
Oh, really?
I think you said it's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think. It was as good as you think when it comes to the defensive side.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was.
Yeah, I can say that. I have a question for you guys. I throw this out to you right now. Would you guys rather be the 1-0 that we and how we looked yesterday, or would you rather be the Baltimore Ravens and lose how they lost, even though they looked crazy explosive on offense? What would you rather have? Would you rather have the 1-0, or would you rather look as dominant as the Ravens did, but be 0-1?
So now, is it the Broncos played the Bills in Buffalo, or the Broncos put up 41 points and lost, or 40 points and lost to the
Tennessee.
Titans?
Yeah.
No. You have to choose the win. You have to choose it. Could you imagine if this defense allowed Cam Lord to go for 40? It's a fair question, but no.
Yeah, but if the
win.
offense, scores 41 or whatever it may be, what was the score last night? 42 to 40.
Yeah, what
41,
scored 17 points in the final 4 minutes of the game or something crazy?
Yeah, so the
like
defense
that?
gives that up, but Bo and company are super explosive
Just
in
unstoppable.
scoring.
Oh,
You're running
man.
for 170 yards or whatever. Yeah, with one guy, with Derrick
What would
Henry.
you choose?
I'd choose the Baltimore. I'd rather be 0-1, but look that incredible. I mean, Baltimore obviously gave that game away at the end, but they still look like the better team by far.
Yeah. You watch that game and say Baltimore has as good of a chance of winning the Super Bowl as anybody.
100%.
And you maybe give the tiebreaker the Bills just because now more likely they get the home field advantage. It's tough to turn that down. At the same time,
but here's the thing is because it's against the Titans, you're not feeling as good about it as if you went into I guess this game would be played in Denver and you're playing against the Ravens and do that.
Yeah.
Fair. If I'm not leaving the game with that feeling like we've got as good of a chance to win a Super Bowl as anybody, then no. Then I just take the win. But if we're just talking like the vibe that comes off that loss, I'm probably taking that all day.
I'm still so juiced over the defensive performance, and then diving into the numbers, figuring out how good the Broncos defense was. It just still blows my mind. Here's a couple more stats that I don't know if you guys were able to get to on the postgame show. I didn't know them until after I was on, so throwing them your way. The Titans averaged 2.4 yards per play, which is the lowest by a Broncos opponent since 2017. in the entire game. The Titans ended up having 30 total yards of offense, not including the penalty yards that they had. So total yards, not net yards in the second half. That was the fewest Denver has given up since at least 1991. And then the -2 net yards of offense that the Titans had, they technically went backwards 2 yards in the entire second half with their penalty yards, is just absolutely insane. And we knew if the Broncos were going to be a Super Bowl team, it was riding the defense and then having a top 10, top 5 offense, and just how far that offense would go would determine just how good this Broncos team would be. But man, this defense is going to be in every single game, and maybe even win you some games, arguably like they did yesterday.
100%. Yeah, go ahead.
I think going back to talking about that Sunday Night Football game last night, the Broncos' path to going and beating the Bills or beating the Ravens, I don't think it's to go and score 42 points. Like that's not going to be how you win that game. The answer is the defense needs to not get into games like that. And so when we say, like, it's tough to watch that game last night and say, wow, the Broncos look like real contenders, like they can actually go and beat these teams. It's up to the defense to say, no, that Derrick Henry, we're not giving him 170 yards. We're giving him 50 yards. Yeah. Lamar Jackson, we're not letting him just hit every pass, run away, whatever. Like, if they find ways to keep those teams to 20, 24, then you actually have a shot. And, Titans obviously aren't one of those teams, but the fact that they did what they did to them, I didn't buy some of those stats. Like when they said 30 yards and a half was the lowest, I thought, like, there's no way. I went back, like, looked through some of them. Chiefs game last year, second half, they gave up 49 yards. Like the first half, I think, was also in the 40s. It's pretty ridiculous that they were able to go and do that. And yeah, like, it's a different game going up and playing against a team like the Titans versus a team like the real contenders, but they gave you every sign you could have looked for.
Well, and on top of that, when it just comes to the yards that the Broncos gave up, 133 yards in a game is disgusting. And yes, it was against the worst team in the NFL last year. It was against a rookie quarterback making his NFL debut, but they still absolutely did that. And the thing that makes it even crazier is the pass play that Cam Ward had on the third play of the game, 3rd and long, and it looks like the Broncos are going to sack him or take him down for like a gain of 1, and then somehow he gets out of it, throws the ball to Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard goes off for 29 yards. They had one more play that went over 20 yards. Those 2 plays combined for half of the Titans' yards. And we're not talking about like 99-yard touchdowns, and they had 2 of them. We're talking about just 50 yards. You take that off. Outside of 2 plays, the Titans had less than 100 yards significantly less than 100 yards on the entire game. And yes, you are going to give up big plays, but in any game really. But when the big plays you're giving up is a 29-yard pass on the first drive, and then you're still able to hold them to a field goal, like, come on, you'll take that any day of the week. Yeah. So I'm juiced on this Broncos defense and everything they did the first week.
Yeah, I thought it was very impressive. This is a Super Bowl defense. When Sean Payton talks about this being a Super Bowl team, and he feels really good about, the 6 or 7 teams that he thought could be a Super Bowl team. This defense right here is Super Bowl caliber. This is up here. This is a top 2, top 3 defense in the entire league, if not the best defense. The only thing that I would want more out of the defense, and obviously we still have 16 more games to go, is for them to start scoring some points. Some scooping scores, some interceptions for touchdowns. When we think about that 2015 defense and the Super Bowl 50 defense, we think about them scoring points because that offense could not score. We could not get into the end zone that much. So our defense actually had to score some points. So when I think about this defense right here, the next step for them is to now start putting the ball in the end zone. Now, that's obviously a tall task for defenses to do, but this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. And if the Broncos want to continue to go on the right trajectory, this defense will have to continue to play well, and I think they will. I think they will have plenty of opportunities, especially next week. Daniel Jones will put the ball into dangerous situations. I've played with DJ. He will put the ball into dangerous situations. We need to get some picks and some pick sixes now.
Can we get DJ on the pod this week?
Yeah, let's try to get him on.
You're talking trash to him?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know if I'm going to talk trash to him. Try to get some inside scoop.
Could you imagine having an opposing quarterback on the show? That would be wild.
Wild. That'd be wild for the Colts to let that happen.
Yes, it would. It would be wild.
Yeah. I thought the Titans offense played pretty well too. Like I didn't think that they were out there just like handing it to the Broncos defense. Like I thought it was a good game from Cam Ward. I thought every time they gave him time, he was finding something. He was giving a guy a play.
He was reading the coverage really well.
He
actually.
really was.
He had some receivers drop the ball, and he had some receivers not making the right running the right routes based off of the coverage. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I thought he played well for a rookie in his first game.
Absolutely.
If I'm a Titans fan, I am so encouraged with what I saw from Cam Ward yesterday. And not even being a Titans fan, I don't care if Cam Ward's good or not. I think he's now going to be good after seeing that in Denver against this defense. And thank goodness that his receivers ate popcorn before the game because they weren't catching anything.
Can we talk a little bit about last week? We talked on the show about, you thought the Broncos were going to blow them out.
Yep.
And I told you this is the NFL.
Yep.
Most games end in one score or less.
Most games do, and this was as close to a one-score game with still being a one-score game as you can get. The Broncos, though, last year had the most double-digit point wins in the NFL. How crazy is that?
That's
so
crazy.
even with a rookie quarterback last year, they were still able to do that. I still expect the Broncos to have blowouts this year, but clearly we saw that the offense had a lot of rust to knock off, and we just got some intel from Sean Payton. He took a lot of blame. And before we get to the offense, I just want to stick on the defense really quick and give some shout-outs to some specific guys, because Nik Bonitto, we've given him all the love in the world, and he deserves a career-high 9 pressures. Guys, I already think his contract is an incredible value for the Broncos just after one game.
Do you think he's regretting it?
Yes, of course.
I don't know how you can regret that much money.
This is what I thought. This is why I thought the Broncos should pay him, is because he had an opportunity to go out and just rack up stats yesterday and next week. I still think he can do that against Daniel Jones, and he did that in his first opportunity. Yeah. Now, like Henry said, he gets $70 million. Can you really regret that? But
not necessarily regret it, but I think he's going to have 15 sacks.
Right.
Now you're talking about a difference of $10 million per year.
So I don't think Nick will regret it. I think his great grandchildren might regret that decision. That might be the difference between them having the generational wealth.
I don't know if that money's ever going away.
It might
if
not.
You start with $70 million
not.
and just invest it.
Exactly.
And don't blow it terribly.
And even if he
$70 million is plenty.
He winds up deciding I want 5 kids. Those kids each have 5 kids. So you're still going through. If you split that a lot, you're still fine.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is only his first deal.
He's gonna be just fine.
And let's actually. You hear? Can we dial up a clip right now? Are you on the spot to do that? I know there's been some technical difficulties. I just want to hear you guys. Have you guys listen to Pat Surtain, the Defensive Player of the Year, talk about Nik Bonitto. And remember, when you're listening to this is the Defensive Player of the Year talking about another defender. Let's hear from Pat after the game.
I mean, sure, as long as I know he's on the field, I'm very confident. I mean, his ability to disrupt games, his ability to affect the quarterback and change the whole situation of the game, man, I think it's pretty special and rare. With a guy with his structure, it's just unbelievable the things that he could do. How he bend around the edge, how he generates pressures. I just sit back in awe and, just sit back and watch him go to work. I always say it makes my job easier. I be thinking in my head it's a certain play clock. So I be thinking, what if it's 1 or 2 seconds, he's going to get there somehow. So, Nik Bonitto, that's the type of player he is.
The Defensive Player of the Year is in awe watching Nik Bonitto. That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I think Pat Surtain obviously understands that football is a team game. And he understands for him to do his job and for him to get Defensive Player of the Year, you have to have great edge rushers. I don't know any corner that is playing in the NFL, that has played in the NFL, who has been or played like Pat Surtain that hasn't had a great pass rush. Pat Surtain is able to do his job at the highest level because he has incredible people up front, Nik Bonitto being one. But the Denver Broncos obviously led the NFL in sacks last year. That leads to Pat being able to sit on different routes, be able to read different coverages, speed up the quarterback in terms of their throws. So Pat understands that this is a team game. You have to have people like Nik Bonitto for him to do his job well. Pat can't cover for 8 seconds. Well, he might be able to, but it'll actually
the other guys can't.
It'll be really difficult. And when you have somebody like Nik Bonitto, Jonathan Cooper, Justin Strenat, Jonah Ellis, all these different guys creating pressures, they're able to do their job on the back end at a really high rate.
Absolutely. And again, football is a team game. It's the scheme and all that sort of stuff. And, you're only as strong as your weakest link. It also changes the numbers when you have stars. It's easy to see you have Tyreek Hill at his best. Guess what? You're getting a double team over there. It changes the math everywhere else. The Broncos have 2 guys who change those numbers. Pat Surtain, he erases a receiver. So he's gone. It's now a 10-on-10 football game. Nik Bonitto on a passing play, you have to send a second blocker his way. You can't leave your tackle one-on-one. So all of a sudden, Bonitto has 2 offensive players accounting for him. You have Pat taking 1 guy away. All of a sudden, you're left with 9 guys on defense, 8 guys on offense. One of them's the quarterback, and if he can't run, you don't have to account for him. All of a sudden, it's a 9-on-7 football game that everybody else gets to play, and that's with other guys like Zach Allen, who, if you give him a single team, he's going to win. JFM, Jonah Ellis doing all these things. With Nik Bonitto playing the way he is right now and Pat doing what he's doing, all of a sudden the numbers every single time the other team drops back to pass are just ridiculously in your favor.
And I'm going to take it to another level along with that, because you said you're only as good as your weakest link. If you believe that cliche, well, the Broncos, technically their weakest link yesterday was inside linebacker, because they were missing Dre Greenlaw, so they had a backup come in. So just technically it was Justin Sternad. And Justin Sternad comes in, has 5 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for a loss, quarterback hit. He balled out. And that's a backup that you have. And you can pretty much go through every position on the team and say, like, okay, if a backup has to play, we actually feel pretty good about it. Safety, corner, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, Jonah Ellis. He is a starter on 31 teams. He is playing out of his mind. Last year, he was great. This year, he's phenomenal. Jonathan Cooper is great. Zach Allen has a sack. You just go through, and there are guys everywhere, every position, starters, backups, and that's what just has me even more fired up about this defensive performance is Pat Surtain doesn't allow a single catch going up against Calvin Ridley. 83% of Calvin Ridley's snaps, he's completely shut down. Calvin Ridley had to go get his stats on someone else. Riley Moss on the other side targeted 8 times, and he gives up 21 receiving yards. Your 2 starting corners give up 21 receiving yards. I know it's against a quarterback making his first start, but you couldn't ask for a better performance from the defense outside of maybe getting really greedy like you are, Benny, and asking for a score. And so that's why I am just so optimistic, and we're all optimistic on the defense. But let's get to the topic of this headline. Are you more encouraged by the defense or concerned, worried about Bo specifically? Let's dive into the offensive side and get to a little bit of what Sean Payton said today, because I thought it was interesting. After I give a shout out to our friends over at Branded Bills. Whether you need snapbacks, trucker fitted hats, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style on the top of your head. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. So if you're a business owner out there, you got to check out Branded Bills. If you just want sweet gear, got to check out our friends over at Branded Bills. And they are going to give you 15% off when you go to brandedbills.com and use the code BBDNVR. That's code BBDNVR over at brandedbills.com to get 15% off your first order. They have a partnership with Colorado State as part of their campus collection as well. So all of our Rammies fans up in Fort Collins, make sure to get your Colorado State gear at 15% off over at brandedbills.com and use that code BBDNVR.
Shout out to Game Time as well. If you want to go get some Rams tickets, I bet you could do that without breaking the bank. All sorts of good sports going on in Colorado. The Broncos, not at home this week, but they'll be back at home soon. That Monday night game against the Bengals at the end of the month, that's one that you should get to. Tickets are probably still pretty expensive, but the closer you get to Game Time, the better the deal is going to be. That's why we like Game Time so much. It's where I go for my tickets. It's where just about everybody at DNVR goes for their tickets. It's easy to use. They have a Game Time guarantee. There's 100% authentic tickets on time, best price, nothing to worry about. Fees always included, so you just see the price and you pay it. They put them all on the map, so you just see what the deal is. You figure out which one you like the best. You can see the view from your seat, all sorts of different perks. They really are the best. So take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
And make sure that if you're tuning in, to sign up to become a Big Brother, Big Sister. This is Big Brother, Big Sister week or month in September. And if you want to give back, go to bbbs.org/allcity to sign up to become a Big. It's a really cool partnership that we have. And it's a really cool way to give back to the community, specifically really change an individual's life. So we're encouraging you to do that all the time, but specifically this month. And also shout out to the Twitter chat and everyone tuning in live and also later. Want to hear your thoughts in the Twitter chat, and then down below if you're tuning in later, love reading those comments after the fact as well. And hit us with a thumbs up, as Kyle Orr says. Let's get these guys some likes, please. So hit us with a thumbs up there. Specifically, let's just give Bennie thumbs up. Because he is the absolute man. Love rolling with him on game days and the day after to break this down.
To be like you.
You're making me blush now. Let's get to some things that are not blushworthy, and that is the Broncos passing attack yesterday. Obviously, Bo Nix struggled. After looking back at the tape, seeing it again, fellas, how are you feeling about Bo? How worried are you after his first performance?
After watching the film, or last night after the game, I probably felt like it was a D+, C- game.
That's where I was.
After watching the film, I'm feeling C+, B-, because I actually don't think the interceptions are all Bo's fault. I thought his eyes could have been a little bit better, but on the first interception, Marvin Mims slows down and runs a half-ass route. When you run a half-ass route, the DB's going to fall off to the other defender. The second interception, you have max protection, and Troutman, and I forgot who the other offensive lineman was blocking Jeffrey Simmons, and Jeffrey Simmons beat a double team. And Bo is pressured. There's pressure in his face, and he makes a throw that he shouldn't make. It was cover 3 on the second interception, which means that Cortland was on this pylon route. He should have gotten the ball. I think if Bo actually has the time and nobody's in his face, he actually launches that ball. I would love to see him actually make that throw a little bit earlier and dissect that coverage a little bit earlier. But with the pressure in his face, it's hard for any quarterback to make throws like that. We saw Tom Brady when he would come here. If you have an incredible pass rusher, an incredible front, even Tom Brady will struggle in terms of completing passes. I think I played in a game where we played against the Patriots, and we were getting home after Tom Brady so much that he didn't have any completions in the first quarter. So quarterbacks, no matter how good they are, will struggle against pressure. Bo had some pressure, and he made some errant throws. I also think, Sean, he talked about this in the press conference, that he didn't do a lot to help Bo out. There was a lot of play action, and there was a lot of him, throwing and making throws on the run, which I think he actually did some great things in the quick game and just getting the ball out of his hands. What did he do really well at Oregon? Got the ball out of his hands, quick screens, quick out routes. So I would love to see more of that. But yeah, I wouldn't say that. I was discouraged after the game, and then after watching the film, it didn't actually look as bad. And I know we'll break some of that stuff down.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. And I feel the exact same way. It was not as bad. And actually, this morning after watching the film, Sean pretty much took responsibility for two things. One was the running game, which we'll get to in a second, and the second was just calling the wrong plays for the situation that the game was in. He said, "Look, if you look at that Sunday night game last night, you needed to be aggressive. You needed to take shots. You needed to throw the ball. That's not how this game was." And he said, as a play caller, you need to realize where a game is trending, where it's going, and do you need to take shots? And clearly, he was having Bo go down the field with those interceptions. And Sean, today, after watching the film, said probably shouldn't have done that. Essentially, that's what he said. So he's trying to, I think, also protect Bo a little bit by taking it off of his shoulders, but also say, man, I just shouldn't have him be throwing those passes.
I don't think he's protecting Bo. I think he's actually taking ownership for the way he called that game, because he called Bo Nix a top 4, top 5 quarterback, and he has the ability to do that, which I think Bo does have that ability, but you don't have to call the game like that.
Right.
You call the game in terms of what are the Titans presenting to you.
Yep.
And I think we could have ran the ball for 200 yards yesterday.
Yep. And we'll get to the running, but Henry, how are you feeling about Bo?
I'm not worried about Bo at all. I think that there is no reason, I think, to be concerned at all. I don't think there's any reason to change your opinion from what it was at this time yesterday before the game. To me, it was interesting. It was heavy on the play action, which is something that Bo does better. He improves on play action when he's throwing outside the pocket. When most of the league's quarterbacks stay about the same on those throws, makes sense you lean into it. You want to get into the wide zone running, that pairs perfectly with that. They call 16 play action passing plays, 3 more than any other team in the NFL. Maybe a little bit too heavy. But when you see what he was doing at the beginning of the game, rolling to his left, making 2 throws. 2 of his first 3 passes were rolling to his left out of the pocket, whipping a ball to the second level of the defense. Like, how do you not lean into that? Because those are superstar type plays. You know, he has the bootleg to the other side where, again, there's pressure, sidearm, tight window to Courtland Sutton, gets that ball. Like, there were so many really good throws. And I think Sean saw it, and I think he said, how could we get away from this? Look at what he's doing. He looks like a superstar. That first couple minutes was incredible, and that can't get lost. Yeah, you talked about the first interception. Marvin just needs to run. There's no interception. It's probably a 20-yard gain if Marvin just runs instead of jogs. That's a tough one. The second interception, again, the first domino was the pressure, and everything kind of gets chaotic from there. Still, Bo still threw the pick. You know, it was still a bad decision, even if it was one that was sped up. Again, that's something he struggled with last year. He struggled with pressure. He struggled against the blitz. And we would have liked to have seen that change. There was one big mistake right there. The fumble. Bo doesn't fumble. It's been, 4 years since his last fumble. He's the one guy in training camp who isn't allowed to be touched. And so with everybody who's just like running by him when he drops back in the pocket, I think that there is a transition going from, oh yeah, these guys actually, they're going to be swinging my arms. They're going to be trying to get this ball out. It can't happen. It's also Jeffrey Simmons up the middle ripping the ball away, and as long as it doesn't happen from here, I'm not concerned. So I look at that game and say, if you have been saying I want Bo Nix to be a superstar quarterback, you can't be upset with him for making the decisions a superstar quarterback would make, for trying to make those Mahomes throws. Didn't always work. Can't expect it to always work. I think there was a lot to like. There are obviously mistakes. I'm not worried about it. It's week 1. He found a way to win.
I was only concerned about Bo with him not using his legs yesterday.
Fair.
The one scramble that he did have was super nice. And then, Hank, what you're talking about with the sack that he took and he fumbled the ball, the lane was there for him to take off and run. So I wonder, does he actually listen to what Jeffrey Simmons said, and does he actually play into, I'm going to go through my reads. I'm going to stay in the pocket. I'm going to be this player. I would love for him to take off. And we've seen it. The top 5 quarterbacks, we talked about this on the show yesterday, the top 5 quarterbacks, if they don't like read 1 or 2, or if there's even a little bit of a question, they take off and run, because that's something that is always hard for the defense to account for, especially when they're playing zone. Drew Brees talked about it on, I think, ESPN last week, that Bo is a strong runner. He's a 400 guy. He can sprint. He's one of the top scramblers in the league.
Right.
Use that to your advantage. What did the Chargers do against the Chiefs the other day? How did they ice that game? With a quarterback scramble. Bo, use your legs, man.
Yep.
The defense can't account for that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I like
Bo got the last laugh of Jeffrey Simmons, though, when Jeffrey Simmons blows the game for the Titans by getting that penalty.
He's a defensive player.
You got the first laugh, too, though. So Jeffrey Simmons says he's a one read and take off guy. First pass of the game, little spacing route against zone coverage. Reads the outside receiver, reads the inside receiver, goes all the way to the other side, third read, hits the tight end. That's third read on the first pass play, and I don't think that was an accident.
Speaking of the ground game and the feet, Sean also took responsibility and accountability for the Broncos being so unbalanced to start the game. I think the first quarter it was 14 passes, 3 rushing attempts. Everyone's like, especially after an interception, everyone's like, what are we doing here? Let's get back to the ground game. And essentially, Sean said he needs to be more aware of that, which, yes, you're the play caller, you're the head coach, you're the offensive mastermind, you do. And he also said that what was happening there was a lot of the plays that were being sent in were RPOs or a run with a check to a pass. And the RPOs were designed to be ran, designed to be ran. Instead, we're turning into a pass, and the run plays were being checked out to pass plays.
Bo wasn't listening.
But Bo wasn't listening, and I think that's what Sean was saying today. And then he did say, like, what I need to do is instead of calling an RPO, I just need to call a handoff. And instead of calling 2 plays with one's a passing and one's a running, they just both need to be running plays for Bo early in games specifically. But guys, I mean, the fact that it was so concerning about just how they weren't running the ball at all, just not giving an opportunity, and then you still end the game with 30 rushes for 150 yards and a touchdown on 5 yards per carry. If the Broncos do that, they're going to be 15-2. They're going to be 16-1 if they run the ball for 150 yards per game. It's just going to start with the commitment earlier on. Do you disagree with me? 150 yards per game on the ground? They're going to be unstoppable. Because it's only going to mean the defense is not on the field as much. It means Bo's going to have to do less. That's how important this running game is going to be.
I'm just going to slow down on the 15-2 just because you have the 150 yards. I'm just going to slow you down.
If you get 150 yards, you're going to be that good. That's what I'm saying, how important the running game is.
The running game is super important, and I do agree with you. We definitely want more consecutive runs. We definitely need to establish the run and continue to establish the run. I'd love to see Sean. We talked about this also yesterday, even during the watch along and also post-game show, is that Bo is a competitor. Bo wants to go out there and he wants to make plays. If you give him the option to throw, he's going to throw it. It's no different than Peyton Manning or any other quarterback. If you give them the option to, hey, you can run or throw it on this one, they're going to throw the ball.
It's like when you do like the be a player thing in like the college football game, you make a quarterback.
Yeah.
You never hand the ball
Never
off.
hand the ball.
It's always a pass.
Exactly.
Yeah. If it's a run, I'm running it.
Bo's going into year 2 as well. This is year 2 for him. This is the start of year 2. Sometimes you have to help him. Help him make the plays. So I think Sean answered the questions right. I think Sean looked at that and like, hey, I can help my quarterback out here. Also, Davis Webb. Hey, man, let Sean know. Let's help Bo out here.
Yeah.
Let's help him out. Let's help him make the plays. And I think that when Sean, this is the great thing about the NFL. This is the great thing is that you have a week to look at this film, rewatch this film, and what do we do well in this game, and how do we continue to do that going into the next game? And I think that's what Sean and these guys are going to do.
People in the Twitter chat are saying that I'm overreacting. I just said what Sean Payton said there. He doesn't want to give Bo the opportunities to check out of these runs to passes. Those were his words this morning.
I think it's the 15-2 that they're talking about.
No,
because
they're referring to the other the stuff that Sean said there. Those were Sean's words there. I want to get into your words, Bennie.
Real quick on the run game though. So the running game, it was hit or miss. The big plays are what helps with your average though. And those are what's missing. The fact they had a longer run than they had all of last year, that's huge. It means they're capable. You have to give the Titans credit, though, for the way they defended the run. Like those read options. The one that was really bad, for example, that was a corner blitz. So they leave the defensive end unblocked. That's the guy that Bo reads. So he makes the right read to keep it. It's just that they're blitzing the corner to keep him out of it. They kept blitzing that corner all game. We were watching it over, like, so that you can't run those read options because there's just another defender. They're doing stuff like that. They're talented in the trenches. Obviously,
but now
Jeffrey
we have
Simmons,
the film.
Sebastian Joseph Day. So you need to have an answer for that. And you start seeing like the lead read options. They take the fullback, clean up the corner, read that guy. So there's another step there, and I think they can find more schematically in the run game too.
But that is how most running games go. Unless you have a Derrick Henry who's literally just running for 11 yards per carry every single time he touches the ball. That is how you get an efficient run game. Is getting 5 yards per carry. Is you have a 19-yard touchdown run. By the way, the longest touchdown run that the Broncos have had since Melvin Gordon, almost 5 years ago.
Wow.
The 50-yard run was the longest run the Broncos have had since Latavius Murray was on the team. Finally, we see some explosion. That's how you get to 150 yards. If you're running for 150 yards, Bennie, 15-2 is what it is. I want to get into the inside scoop powered by our guy, Bennie Fowler, after I give a shout out to our friends over at Mack Weldon. I just got in on the Mack Weldon game, and I'm telling you what, it is the most comfortable, clean-looking clothing out there. Plus, they've got other really cool things, like I got a really nice backpack from them, nice dress shirt. They also have amazing shorts. And if you want to be comfortable and stylish, Mack Weldon is the place to go. Mack Weldon has breathable clothing that keeps you cool, comfortable, and stylish for the summer, including their Cool Max technology, which is their new tech linen line, which combines easy charm of classic linen with that Cool Max technology. They've got shirts, shorts, hoodies, and more over at MackWeldon.com, and you can get 25% off by using the code DNVR over at MacWeldon.com. Use that code DNVR over at MacWeldon.com. And use that code DNVR on your first order of $125 or more. Trust me, you're going to want Mac Weldon apparel for your tops, for your bottoms, even for your backs with a backpack. Check them out.
And shout out to Ent Credit Union. If you're like us and you like the Denver Broncos, then they've got an awesome offer for you because as the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos, Ent Credit Union has created a Broncos checking account. There's a whole bunch of perks. There are no surprise fees, no minimum balance requirements. The money in your Broncos checking account even earns dividends. So a whole bunch of that sort of stuff. But then for the Broncos fans, you get 10% off food and gear on game days at Empower Field at Mile High. You get a Broncos branded debit card so that you can rep the team whenever you buy something. And when you buy something, you get a chance to win tickets. Every time you use your Broncos checking debit card, actually every 15 times you get one more chance to win the drawing for free tickets. Whole bunch of perks. So if you're ready to bank like a Bronco, go to ent.com/DNVR. That's ent.com/DNVR and sign up for Broncos checking today. Ent Credit Union is insured by NCUA. Membership required. APY, annual percentage yield. Account requires associate Ent Broncos debit card.
All right, the Inside Scoop is my favorite segment of the week, so make sure to hit Bennie with some thumbs up in the Twitter when we do this. And speaking of Ent Credit Union, the Inside Scoop powered by Ent Credit Union. Bake like a Bronco. Go to ent.com/DNVR and sign up for Broncos checking today. Ent Credit Union is insured by NCUA. Membership required. Annual percentage yield. Account requires associated Ent Broncos debit card. Bennie, take it over.
All right, man, here we go. DNVR fan, we got some of these plays. This is early on in the game. This is where I was a little bit worried about Bo and his eyes and like what was he seeing and what was he looking at. So this is some of the creative play calling by Sean Payton. So you got Sherfield on a clear out, you got Cortland on the post, and then you got Jahdae running through the gap on a H shoot type of play. So Marvin's coming in motion, and then they're going to do a little play action fake to him to, obviously confuse the defense right here. So you see the play action fake, you see the line has got this pretty much blocked up. Mm-hmm. Titans are playing zone coverage. Cortland's inside releasing right here. Jahdae is getting ready to release through here. So he finds the H shoot right through here. But this is where I get a little bit worried about Bo's eyes. This is clearly covered.
Right.
Yep.
This is covered right here. There's nothing open right here. So
I see three defenders.
You see three defenders over there, but also, what do great quarterbacks do? And this is where Bo will continue to go. Mm-hmm. This is where he will continue to have progressions. But you look this safety off.
You're right.
This safety is getting ready. He is watching Bo's eyes, so he starts to look up this defender the running back right here, Jahdae. And Cortland is wide open. Look at all this space right here. Sherfield has already taken this safety out of the play. Mm-hmm. This is where you want Bo to progress. You want him to look this safety off and then come to Cortland right here. All of this grass right there, you want him to hit pay dirt right here. So we saw this a couple times throughout the game where Bo's eyes they weren't looking in the right spot. Even on the RPOs and the read options, it didn't look like he was reading the defense the right way. So that is something where you want to progress. Look at Cortland right here.
Yep.
He's naked right there.
Yep.
These are things that you want to hit. This is where the next step in progression is. And this is where Bo also said in his post-game press conference, hey, there are some things that he probably missed, and he's going to be able to watch the tape. Now you have a full game's worth of tape that you can watch. And, hey, now he can go back and his coaches can go back and get back to the fundamentals. Because this is probably what they hit in practice all week.
Yep.
That's the person that they hit in practice all week. Hey, we're going to get this coverage and this look, and we're going to be able to hit Jahdae coming out of the backfield because nobody's going to see him. We're going to have Marvin clear everything out. They're going to think trick play. But, hey, there's your second option right there.
Totally.
That's where you have to take the progression. That's where you have to get better in terms of your game. That's where you want to see Bo progress. And I think he will progress throughout the year on these little things right here.
Right. And that one, weird footwork too. So he drops back, he's climbing the pocket. He steps, like his leg is almost in front of his arm as he steps into that throw. And those are the ones that, so they're the off-platform throws that he's really good at. You live with a couple of mistakes. Those are the ones when you're kind of settled in there that you want to have dialed in, Mm-hmm. And so when this ball sails a little bit, who knows, maybe he's just kind of bailing on the throw because he realizes it isn't open. But it's one of those where you're like, that's not quite where you want it.
He was also very flat-footed on many throws. Way too many throws yesterday.
Absolutely.
Even if Bidet was open on this, I think he would have had a hard time catching it because of how much heat was actually on the ball. You know, like that ball had a lot. It was a missile right there. So that's one thing that I was a little concerned about was Bo's eyes on especially on this play. I think this run here is the interception right here. So you got a clear out by Marvin running a pylon, and then you have Cortland coming over the top, Sherfield coming underneath on a crossing route. The crossing routes were open all day against the Titans. We had plenty of opportunity. I actually think this is a great call by Sean to make this play, but Marvin does not run this route full speed. Marvin is one of your clear out guys. He is somebody that can take the top off of the defense. You have to take this corner out. You have to run this route full speed. This is why football is the ultimate team game. Everything matters. So as you're going through this play right here, everything is working out like you need it to be, like you want it to be. You have this right here. Marvin's taking his guy out. Now it's hard to see it because everything is in still motion right here, but Marvin is not running full speed right here. He should have this defender taken out completely right here because you see Cortland coming right here and you see all of this green grass. So this play is really well designed if everybody is running full speed. Receivers have to be in shape. This is the first game of the season. I know Marvin had a little bit of the growing injury. I don't know how much he practiced throughout the entire week. But receivers, they have to be like gazelles. They have to be able to run at all points and run full speed on every single route. This is why football is so important, why everybody doing their job is very important. If he takes this guy out of here, you have an explosive play right here. But because he's not running full speed, you could see this defender peeling off right here.
Right.
The defender peels off and then is able to make the play. That should not happen.
Nope.
And that's because Marvin did not run his route full speed. These are the little things that make offenses really good. When you think about some of the best offenses in the world that you've ever seen, this would never be allowed. I mean, Payton would.
Zay Flowers cleared that out last night.
100%.
Yep.
Payton he'd be livid about this.
I can't even imagine.
He'd light you up on the sideline about this because, you know, Bo gets the interception. The interception goes on his stat. To be honest, it should go on Marvin's stat. Hey, this was a pick because of you not running your route full speed. The little things, little details. Let's see what we got here. This is the play where Bo fumbles. Jeffrey Simmons gets to him. This is really covered well by the Titans. You know, Cortland's got an out route right here. Troy Franklin's got an in route. They cover this well. You have your flats right there. But I think the Titans called a great defense right here. And I think this is where Bo should take off and use his legs. Titans they got this covered. They got a safety in the middle of the field. This is covered. This is covered. You know, there's nowhere to really go with the football unless you want to hit the flat route right now, but you need to hit these flat routes right here, right then and there. This is something that Drew Brees was really good at in Sean Payton's offense is, hey, he would drop back. If he didn't, you know, it was, you know, great zone coverage, then he would hit these flat routes and you live to fight another day. Bo holds on to the ball too long right here. You got to let the ball go or find these lanes. Find these lanes to use your legs because the defense isn't accounting for you right here. They do not have a spy on you. So, Bo, use your legs. Use your athletic ability to go make a play and to extend the down. I know this might look open, but trust me, it's not because this defender right here is eyeing Bo's eyes and can drive on that dig route. Want to see Bo use his legs. Look at this. Use his legs. Go make a play. Yep. This is where you take that next step. This is where the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, those top 5 quarterbacks, even Joe Burrow last year had some long QB runs, but they would just take off with this.
Well, and then even Bennie, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, but step up into those lanes, and if he doesn't want to take off, at least buys more time, and you get away from the Jeffrey Simmons of the world, and then there is a lot of room out by the sidelines if you want to buy time and then throw the ball, or buy time and then just take off if you decide to.
Yeah, definitely step up in the pocket, but you usually have 2 to 3 seconds to really throw and to make a decision. After you see how far they're dropping back, I mean, look what this defender is. Look how far they are down the field. They are not letting anything behind them.
Yep.
Step up, make a play, and use your legs. Right here, ball's out right there. You can see the ball out right there. And I put that sack on Bo. Oops.
Yep. I mean, he probably could have that flat route's there too, like you said. Like if you want to just rip that out to Kroll, there's 2nd and 5 waiting for. I guess this was 2nd and 9. There's 3rd and 4 waiting for you.
100%. Here we got the double move, so it's not all negative. We got some positives here, but we talked about Marvin Mims not running full speed and not getting to his landmark on the interception. Here, everybody gets to their landmark, and specifically, you have an out and up here. Got an out and up here. That's what Troy Franklin scored on in the preseason. And then you have Evan Ingram getting to his landmark. Troy Franklin getting to his landmark. But this is why, things are just so important. Landmarks are important. Spacing and timing is important. Cortland runs a great route here. Love the route by Cortland. Selling the short out route right there and getting that defender to drive on that. You see the defender is looking. Bo does a great job. You can see that he's pump faking right there.
Well, and without that out right there, look, the defender's in great position to take a fadeaway right there.
100%.
And Court sells him on it.
Court sells him, so it's a great route by Court. You know that you won right here. This defender looks like he is squatting on. He is looking. He thinks he has a pick six right here, and so does this guy right here. Marvin is going to be crazy wide open on this play.
With his hands on his head.
Yeah.
How'd he not throw it to me?
Great play.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
I mean,
he
Marvin.
is wide open.
Exactly.
I don't blame Marvin for
Marvin's
feeling that way.
Yeah, Marvin's wide open. Marvin ran a great route. Don't show your quarterback up on film. I know his receiver coach is saying, don't ever do that. Don't do that.
Especially if he got a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
But he doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, he doesn't know that.
He just knows he's wide open. They could have had
But that's what it's saying. Don't react until you know, though.
But Court also ran a great route, and when you throw the ball up to Courtland Sutton, he's coming down with it. This ball was great placement by Bo. Courtland goes up and makes the play, and that's something that you just love to see right there. And I'm glad that Bo made that throw. We needed that. He needed that.
Absolutely.
So you love to see that touchdown. You love to see excitement right there. Love to see your teammates. Evans getting ready to do a little high step right there, and then we love Broncos Country right there, getting super excited for the touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, so many great throws from Bo. Like even the ones that didn't work out well, he put so many right on the money.
Yes,
like right where they have to be, and half of them where he's on the run throwing him sidearm too. Like the fact that 90% of the throws wound up right where he wanted them, that's a really, really, really good sign.
100%.
And that's just who Bo is.
Now here is the second interception right here. Courtland's on a pylon route. You got Troy Franklin on the over route, and you got Marvin on a post. Typical play action fake right here. Now everybody is going to blame Bo for this, but I also this comes to football being a team game right here. They are going to bring a corner blitz right here, and they pick it up.
Yep. Again,
so we pick up the corner blitz. Yeah, go ahead, Hank.
So you'll look. So if this is a read option, they either hand it off going left or Bo pulls it and goes right. So that would make the read guy that defensive end, which means that the Titans, if this is a run, could have him crash inside. Means Bo pulls it. By blitzing the corner, you stuff the read option. It was an awesome design that they ran a couple times and beat the Broncos on a couple times.
Yep, they did. Jeffrey Simmons is your game wrecker. You bring Troutman in to have max protection on this play because you have 3 routes that are going plus 15 yards, 3 deep routes. So you need max protection for Bo to have time to make this throw. This is where you want Bo to let this ball go. That's a win right there in the NFL.
Right.
It's cover 3. The post is covered. You can't do that. The over route is not going to be open right here based on cover 3. If they're playing the cover 3 principles, this should be taken. This pylon right here, Bo should lead that. This safety right here won't be able to keep up with that ball, and the corner definitely won't, just based off of pure leverage right there.
And it's a reasonable, he's 26 yards away right there. You target it, that's well within Bo's range to hit him on the deep ball and keep him in stride.
But this is what you don't want to see. This is what's hard for Bo to make this throw and to make a throw comfortably. He still needs time to really read this. He's a young player, but you had 2 people on Jeffrey Simmons, and he is still making the play right here.
Right.
Obviously, he's an all-pro right here, but you need to block this up because if Bo has the time to make this read, I don't think he's going to rush this throw because this is the defender who ends up making the interception right here. But this is Cortland's supposed to get this ball right here. If Cortland gets this ball, he makes this play, and we're having a better feeling about this game right here.
So then, Benny, it isn't on Bo because the pressure was there, but there are going to be times when pressure is in Bo's face. What should he have done there instead?
I would love to see Bo.
there.
I'd love to see Bo take up, just step up in the pocket, take off, and run. If you feel a little uncomfortable with the pressure, it's going to be hard for those defensive linemen to keep up with you.
Yeah, totally.
I think he had time to get that ball to court deep too.
100%.
He would have been hit maybe right as he threw it. I think it's right after though.
Yep, there he goes right there. I mean, Cortland's wide open. That's what you really want. The spacing and timing is there. That's exactly what you want right out of there.
So are you not putting this on Bo?
I'm not putting this on Bo. I'm putting this on the offensive line. Look, Bo's got to be better.
The first domino.
Yeah, offensive line. Yeah, first domino. But look, what I will say is that what I would want better from Bo is something that we saw Payton do all the time, which was if I don't like the read, throw it out of bounds and live for another day. We don't want the turnover. We want every possession to end in a kick, whether that's a field goal or a punt. That's what you want. So,
2nd and 4, just go to 3rd and 4.
That's what we got for the inside scoop, fellas.
I love it. Incredible stuff. I absolutely love the inside scoop. And I want to give a shout out to someone else that I love, and that, not just my wife. We're talking about our friends over at Taco Bell. Happy Taco Tuesday Eve, fellas. That's the only good thing about Monday is Taco Tuesday Eve. And tomorrow we're going to be celebrating with some Taco Bell. And you can celebrate today with the Buffs box, which is $7. Listen to all the food you get for $7. You get a cheesy gordita crunch, beefy 5-layer burrito, Doritos Locos tacos, cinnamon twist, and a large fountain drink. Plus, you're going to get a CU Buffs branded cup featuring potentially Juju, Lewis, Jordan, Seaton, and a couple of other players. And you can pick one up at a participating Colorado Taco Bell location near you. And the cool thing about Taco Bell, they are giving $1,000 to the CU Athletic Scholarship Fund for every single touchdown the Buffs scored this week. So make sure to check out Taco Bell. We love them. We know you're going to love them. And let us know when you get Taco Bell as well. Pick up your Buffs box at the nearest location, Taco Bell near you.
And make sure that you let us know if you go and get yourself some Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is also incredible. There's almost nothing better. I think that there are so many situations where Raising Cane's is just the answer. It's a shame there isn't one on the way home. Otherwise, I'd wind up there a lot more. But it is kind of on the way back from Broncos, and that's where you can sometimes head a couple roads over and grab it. Incredible food, of course. The crinkle cut fries, buttery Texas toast, cooked to order chicken fingers. MVP of every bite, though, is the cane sauce. Just so much good stuff. The jugs that they have of the tea, of the lemonade. You just can't go wrong over at Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is awesome. They support us. We appreciate if you support them. All drinks are served over refreshing crushed ice, so you can actually go check that out. Pure cane sugar, filtered water, real lemons in the lemonade. It's not a secret. It's not complicated. It's just good. Go over to Raising Cane's. They'll make tailgating easy. RaisingCanes.com. Game day the easy way. Game day the Canes way. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
A lot of supporters club members in the chat right now. Let's hit us with those emojis that you get when you're a member of the supporters club. Eric, why aren't you a member of the supporters club? I must ask our friend D-Line Code. You're making all these emojis.
He said he would be soon.
You gotta be the one to throw these in, including the new W emoji in there. Let us hit us with some LFBs as well. D-Line, you've officially been called out. And shout out to everyone that is a member of the Supporters Club. Join us now on YouTube. It's a cool thing that YouTube does. It supports us. We appreciate it. And then you also get some cool perks in the Twitter chat as well. Hit us with a thumbs up. All right, fellas, 2 things I want to get to before we wrap up this show. First, I've got good news on the Dre Greenlaw injury front. Of course, the Broncos defense was that good without him yesterday. I can't wait to see what it looks like with him in terms of the play, but also the energy that he brings. Sean Payton today in his morning press conference went out of his way to say Dre's going to be back sooner than later. Does that mean this week?
No, that means next week. That means the following week.
Okay, and you know
I think
what? I'll take it.
I think Sean is going for or aiming for the Dre Greenlaw debut Monday night, Cincinnati.
okay.
So 3 weeks away.
What's the
Week
what's
four.
the
Chargers
third
before
game?
that.
Chargers.
Oh, Chargers.
Yeah, I think that's
Chargers.
the one.
Yeah, he's aiming for Chargers, Bengals, and then definitely got to be ready for Philly.
Yep.
And you know what? You should be able to get by the first 2 games without him. You should be able to.
Should be able to.
Should be.
You got a beast of a running back next week.
There's no doubt about it. But the next 3 weeks are when it's like it takes that whole nother step.
100%. Yeah, no. Amari and Hampton looks good, and obviously Saquon is a monster. I'm not necessarily worried about Cincinnati's running game. They want to throw the ball all over the yard, but yeah, definitely got to be ready for that Chargers because that's what they want to do.
Yep. Up 100%. And then the other thing I want to get to, we talked about it a little bit on the show yesterday, actually a lot of it on the show yesterday, but I want you guys to hear directly from Sean Payton on why the heck he went for it on 4th and 8 at the end of the game. Broncos up 8 on Tennessee's 36-yard line. Sean Payton decides to go for it. We've got Sean's clip, but before we hear from Sean, what would you guys have done in that situation?
Kick the damn field goal.
Okay, so it's a 54-yard field goal. You would have kicked the damn field goal.
Yep.
Benny?
I'd have punted. I'd have took the delay game and punted the ball.
Delay again. Okay, so you're punting from the 41-yard line, and you're hoping to not get a touchback. You're hoping to pin him at the 10. And how about Jeremy Crawshaw?
Yeah.
Shout out to him for
inside.
a hell of a game.
Yeah,
Yes.
2 punts inside the 10.
Yep.
So,
Third one would have been if it wasn't returned.
yeah.
Yep.
So initially, I agree with Henry. I probably would have kicked the field goal. But then thinking about Sean Payton's biggest concern, and we'll hear about that, he was really worried about it being blocked and then returned for a touchdown. And he didn't want the game not in the defense's hands, essentially.
He's got bad luck. Well, I mean, Broncos
that's the
last
thing.
year.
Yeah.
That's
Broncos
the
last
thing.
year against the Chiefs, field goal block, and then Broncos beating Sean Payton at the Saints with Justin Simmons blocking the field goal and Will Parks returning it for a touchdown. So,
Benny, that's why I think if I would have really taken time, which Sean Payton said he had plenty of time, I probably would have punted it too. Taken the delay of game, punted it with the way Jeremy Crawshaw was. And then not only are you still giving the game in your defense's hands, but you're just helping the defense out more.
I actually really don't mind the play call now.
I don't mind the play call either.
After sleeping on it and then watching it, you got max protection there. Bo's got to buy a little bit more time, but Cortland was wide open. I mean, Mims wasn't wide open, but he had his defender beat. You can't stop. It's hard to stop a crosser with blitz 0.
Right.
So, if Bo just puts a little bit more air under it, I mean, the play was wide open, actually. So
Yes.
So let's hear Sean talk about it and defend his decision to do it, even though in the end it didn't work out, but ultimately it did. Let's hear from Sean.
Yeah, so you ready? We had plenty of time to think about it. We're playing great defense. Kick block, is a scoop, and it's one thing. It's a 54-yard field goal. I don't think we're going to punt it, and I felt strongly, I had to play, and we knew they would be in a cover 0 look. I want to see the protection, and we got the look we were expecting. We'll see the film, but I've got plenty of confidence in the distance relative to the kick, but the way we're playing defensively, you have to look at, the quickest way for them to take the ball 64 yards would be, a scoop and score, and I didn't want that to happen. So we had a lot of time to think about it. I felt real good about a call. And when you have a call you like,
He loved his call, and he was right.
yeah, I did
He was right on the call.
impersonation of Sean during the post game, or maybe it was during the watch along of how he would talk about this. It's like, yeah,
The thing about the
he's never gonna call himself wrong.
the thing about the call is that you're not gonna have time though. Like it's gonna be a rush throw. But yeah, to me, it goes back to the field goal thing, which is what this is all about. You're scared of the blocked field goal. You should not be. It's like getting struck by lightning. I think in the past 10 years, there have been 10,174 field goals attempted. 1.7% of them have been blocked. Now, you're not always trying to block it.
But he's the 1%.
That's the thing. We'll get there. I think, again,
In a good and bad way.
teams aren't always selling out to block them. So you narrow it down to just field goals that tie or take the lead in the last 2 minutes or overtime. Jumps from 1.7% to 1.9%. Now, how often is a blocked field goal returned for a touchdown? Well, there have been 179 blocks in the past 10 years. 9 have been returned for a touchdown. You combine those two stats, you would say the odds of a field goal in that situation being blocked and returned for a touchdown, 1 in 1,020. They're so slim. But when you're Sean, you've had twice in your career, you've lost games because of a blocked field goal. It's going to weigh on his mind. And I get that. In the same way that, like, when I was a kid, I was really excited in 5th grade to get a Travis Henry jersey, right when the Broncos signed him. And I love that jersey. And it's really cold in the winter up in Montana. So before school one day, I went and I stood by the fireplace and the back of the jersey melted. And so that was the end of my jersey. And I never stood next to that fireplace again because it burned me, you know, and I lost my jersey. And I was cold and I suffered because of it, but I just refused to get close. And, like, that's life. You learn your lesson. You decide, I'm not going to get beat by this again. I get that aspect. Nobody has ever made that call before. Like, I went through every play, the 4th and 6th and longer, where you wind up not being able to convert, 1-score lead late in the game like that. There are only 2 examples, and both of them came. It was less than 30 seconds left, so you're willing to just waste the time. Nobody has ever thrown the football in that situation before in the history, going back to 1978, which is when StatHead started. So it's a shocking decision. It worked out in the end. You're really banking on the defense, which makes sense, but also you could just end it with a field goal. I hate it.
Well, I think it speaks to 2 things. One, it speaks to his confidence in himself drawing up a play call, which did seem to work. But then the second thing, which you rarely see, typically teams go for it on 4th down to ice the game so that the game ends with the offense having the ball in their hand. This time, Sean was okay putting the ball in the defense's hand by doing this. That is so rare and just shows how much confidence he truly has in the defense here. So ultimately,
4th and 6 last year, NFL teams converted 36% of the time.
Yeah.
So, like, if you call it the one in,
but they didn't have Sean Payton's play calls, Henry.
Exactly, a play call which was one of the 2 of 3 and not the 1 in 3.
Really quick, we're gonna
end
this show in overtime. Go to DNVR.com. We're gonna end this show over in overtime. What were you gonna say, Benny?
That 36% of 4th and 6,
4th and 6 conversions.
Yeah, 4th and 6 conversions. How we have to go look at those plays and how many of those plays were blitz 0, where you knew you were going to get blitz 0, and actually you have 2 receivers who were open.
Yeah, but that's the thing about blitz 0. You know, a receiver's getting open. It's a question of when. It's a question of how much. Do you have 2 seconds to make the throw? Do you have 1.8? Do you have 2? You know.
I had a real problem with the call during the game, but also then I remembered, like, I've been in a Sean Payton meetings, and he is a super confident play caller. And most of the time, he's actually one of the only coaches that I ever played for where he would draw something up during the week and it's like, hey, we're going to get this look, and it would actually be open, like wide open. And Cortland Sutton was wide open.
He was wide open.
So, you live with it.
Yep.
You do, and it worked. You won.
It doesn't work at the beginning, but then it does end up working at the end.
Well, now teams have to account for that. Well, if the Broncos offense is on the field on a 4th and 8 now, you have to have antennas up as a defense now as an opponent of the Broncos because now you can get them on a hard count. Now, who knows what you can do?
Because we might make an insane decision you'd never see coming. It's like it's like the crazy guy at the bar. Just leave him alone because you don't know what he's gonna do.
That's Sean Payton, man. Yep. He is he's unpredictable. He's fun, and he's 1-0 for the first time in his Broncos tenure. We got some super chats to hit. Want to get to those right now. First one coming in from our friend Jay, who says, let's start drafting names for this defense. Mine is Sunset Siege for the official name of our current orange. Also, think this D is a more militaristic, overpowering D. It's Sunset or what was it? Sunset Siege.
Yes,
that's good.
Sunset, not the strongest word. That's not a word that invokes like fear, and I think that's my concern. We're looking for the perfect nickname.
It invokes like darkness is coming.
Yeah, but I think my first thought is like, oh, let's go sit outside and watch the pretty sunset. It's not. I think we can go scarier.
I like that we're getting the ball rolling on this now.
It's not bad.
Because if they keep this up, they'll need a defense.
No names until after week 4.
Okay, I like that. That's very fair. Man, and if they shut out the Bengals and they shut out the Chargers, not actually shut out, but they clamp them down, maybe after week 5 is when we're just stamping one on after the Eagles game.
No, we need it before that.
Okay, before that. I like that. Pure Lapine says video game controller looks for I need some help here, guys. For Lorm, in between the words "try again."
He sent an emoji, and so it comes up as words.
Oh my gosh, I was so confused. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Thank you for the help there. It sounds like a cool emoji, though. It sounds like a Pat Surtain emoji. And next one coming in from our friend Alonzo, who says, any news on Evan Ingram? Calf injury. Sean Payton did not give an injury update there. Probably
Scary.
the first indication we'll see is on Wednesday. But, guys, what I will see or tell you from being at the game was he was going in and out of the medical tent a couple of times. That's just never a good sign. He went in once, came out, went on the field, then went back in again. Clearly, probably he's going to miss some time. So Wednesday is the first practice that we get to see. Actually, the Broncos' first practice this week. So we'll have an injury update then.
I text Evan about seeing a PT that I have. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I like Benny. You're always helping these guys out. That's what we need.
That's what we're supposed
That's
to do.
all we need.
Sign the 4 injury-prone vets. If you're down to 2 for week 2, I don't love it. Again, it's about the end of the season, not the beginning, though. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, that's fair. Dusty, who is a supporter club member, says, Zach, I'm happy you brought this up, Dusty. Zach, for the love of God, stop with your guaranteed wins. I'm superstitious, but every time something goes wrong, I see your face and immediately blame you. Don't ruin our relationship. Please stop. Stop that. Love, Dusty. What? Why would I stop? I guaranteed a win, and they won. They won.
Now,
They won the
they
game.
didn't quite have more points than they allowed yards.
But they won the game.
You were
That's
right
what-
about that one,
That's
yes.
what I guaranteed. I
That is
guaranteed a
what
win,
you
and they
guaranteed.
won. So Dusty, why can't I guarantee a win?
I didn't guarantee though. There's a difference.
Yeah. Henry won't guarantee.
Yes.
Every time I guaranteed a win last year, they won. You're still. No, it's true. They're still scarred by me guaranteeing a win in the Russell Wilson era. I shouldn't have ever trusted that. So, but last year with Bo Nix and Sean Payton, they won every time I guaranteed a win. So, Dusty, you can trust me. And Bo Leave, and not just Dusty, everyone else that was freaking out in the Twitter chat.
Guaranteed win this week?
We'll get there.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
see. I'm not saying anything yet. The Colts
Okay.
did look way better than I think anyone expected.
I picked them to win the division.
They look that good to you. You expect them to look that good yesterday?
Maybe not that. No.
Yeah,
sure. We'll go
that's
with
what I'm
that.
saying.
All I'm saying, I'm going to look real smart at the end of the year.
Logan says the amount of fans and analysts saying Bo sucks shows how little ball knowledge a lot of people have. The offense will be completely fine. Well, then you know that we've got ball knowledge because Benny and Henry broke down just how Bo Nix, it wasn't as bad as it seemed. And I hope the show wasn't as bad as it seemed. No, the show was great. Really, really loved all the insight from Henry, from Benny, from the Toyota chat. Really enjoyed the inside scoop. That's going to do it for us today. We are back, as always, tomorrow at noon to continue to break down this game and start looking ahead to the Colts. Maybe more a better opponent than we were expecting just a couple of days ago. Outside of Henry, he always knew the Colts were going to be
They're
a
winning
tough
the
game
AFC
there.
South.
I love it. That's going to do it for us today. We will see you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast.